Jonathan Solari. I'm the CEO of Madison Ballet.
What is your favorite Wisconsin art story?
It's not a story, but it's a perspective that I heard recently where the way that our society values arts dictates so much about the way we value each other, not only because of the shared human experience, the stories that are told, but to have something created in front of you, or to have the work of someone who's crafted something that you're now witnessing, that direct kind of consumer audience to artist maker relationship is so valuable, and the way that we value that says so much about us.
What do the arts mean to you?
For me, the arts are a catalyst for change, for strengthening community, for building relationships, for understanding each other. It's a tool that we have to flex our muscles for empathy. It's everything. It's the way that we reflect on our reality. And it's full of joy. Whether or not you're experiencing a story that's a tragedy or a comedy or somewhere in between, the ability to feel alive and to be transported to someone else's vision of the world, that's beautiful. That's what art is.
Why do the arts matter?
I think in order to convince someone that arts matters, you need to present them with art. They know it, they've experienced it. They just need to reflect on how many ways arts have touched their lives. There's nobody who's seeing this, there's nobody who lives in this state who has not been impacted in one way or another by art.
What does access and inclusion mean to you?
Inclusion and accessibility are everything with the arts, and any barrier that prevents an audience member or a creator, an artist, from creating or participating needs to be removed. And that's the work of a community, right? So there are barriers in terms of prejudices of people with differing abilities. There's certainly implicit biases of who is capable of telling what stories. And there's also economic barriers that need to be removed.
What can you tell me about the intersection of art and disability?
When thinking about the intersection of art and disability, I think about a visualization, right? It's an actual intersection of the way that we connect. You think about an audience and an art, a piece of art, having a line drawn between it. And I think, unfortunately, people with disabilities are overlooked. And that is why an organization like Arts for All Wisconsin is so essential to the health of our state, because they fill those holes, make us whole in the process.
Why is arts education so important?
Arts education is education through a means by which students want to engage. The things that you learn in a dance class or in a visual arts class or in a theater class by collaborating with other people, there's so many vital lessons that get learned in there that is beyond the product that you're creating or the art that is made there.
What is a meaningful art experience you have had?
I've had so many meaningful experiences in theaters around the country, around the world, creating work, witnessing beautiful work, learning from it. The story that I want to tell, though, is about the collaboration between Madison Ballet and Arts for All Wisconsin. And this past winter, a production of The Nutcracker that we've put on historically for nearly 40 years now. Arts for All Wisconsin allowed us to open up our doors for an invited dress rehearsal for families who had members with differing abilities who wouldn't be able to attend the performance otherwise. We created a safe space for them to be able to experience this work and respond audibly with joy. It was a beautiful evening. And one of the families who attended said, we hadn't been able to come to a show in 14 years. We were afraid we didn't feel that there was a space that was created for us. And I think about how empty life has been the last 7 months without performance, without the ability to come together, and to multiply that, to extend this time of COVID, of not being able to witness a production over 14 years. And to think that Arts for All Wisconsin found a way to that family and said, we're here for you, and you're welcome here, and this space is safe for you. That's the kind of work that needs to be done everywhere.
When you think about Arts for All Wisconsin, what do you think about?
I knew that I wanted to do something in my role at Madison Ballet for this community, but I didn't know where to start. So I reached out to Arts for All Wisconsin and I said, I don't understand the barriers. I know they're there, but I can't name them. So help me name them so that we can remove them. They were so helpful in creating an understanding for us, and also collaborating truly to figure out what we could do together to remove economic barriers, recognizing the economic barriers, and saying the cost of raising a child, the lost income of raising a child, potentially in some instances, those create financial barriers where we might say we're going to go see a movie, we're going to go see a play, that might not be on the table for some of these families. To understand what tools we could provide families. I wasn't aware of those tools before speaking with Arts for All Wisconsin. And also just being able to know the community, to be able to find the audience and say, we're specifically creating space here if you're interested. And we can send out a press release, we can do a news story, but to actually have relationships and have worked to build those relationships so that there's really an arm being stretched out instead of a press release being sent. That was invaluable. That's how you make connections, meaningful ones. Arts for All Wisconsin is meaningful leadership in empathy and creating opportunities. The most caring, brilliant collaborators in another organization that I've had the pleasure of working with. They open doors for organizations like ours to be better and learn. And they open doors for people all over to experience art in whatever meaningful way is appropriate and exciting to them. It's beautiful work and it's important work.
What is your hope for the future of arts in America?
I have so many hopes for the future. The institutions and the individuals who recognize our value as arts organizations and artists will step in a time of need and say, this is work worth investing in. Because as we've seen in this last year, our lives are not as full, and we're not as equipped as we should be to have difficult conversations. And I believe that's because we don't engage with the arts as regularly as we used to. So my hope is that we can make it through, that we can be sustainable on the other side of this moment, however long it lasts, and that we can thrive, and that there'll be a greater appreciation for the work once we do make it through. Investment is a donation and it's advocacy. People need to, if they're able to, support the organizations that they love. I mean, I got an email this morning of someone who gave $10.34. It was the best thing. That it was more meaningful than some grants that we received for thousands of dollars, because it was somebody who just said, this is what I've got. And it's a weird number, but this is what I can do right now. And it made my day. It's giving us the momentum to keep going forward.